Come be a part of history and experience the sharing of wisdom from some of the most brilliant thought leaders in our community. Come see Muda Baruka, Styles P, Nori Muhammad, Lawrence Haja, Dr. Dorothy Holly, Dejaz Mach Kwasi, Deborah Hines, and Midwife Asasia impart their wisdom at Groundings with My Brothers and Sisters, a holistic health conference. A plant-based breakfast and lunch are included. Looking forward to seeing you there.
All right. Sharif.
You.
It's Hoodoo Heritage Month.
What you got there, yo? You got the ancient alien tech going. That's what you got.
It's Hoodoo Heritage Month. And I'm in my full,
dope.
I'm doing my thing tonight, man.
Yeah. That's crazy. I like it though. I like it.
To the family.
Yeah,
hey,
please.
As we get started, let me get my headphones. Talk to the family real quick while I get my headphones.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Yo, listen, people, it's kind of special to me for a number of reasons, this presentation. I'm not, in the traditional sense, a hoodoo practitioner. I have a huge amount of respect for the tradition, right? And being a student of scientific spirituality, I'm fairly familiar, not just with the tradition, but the tech, why it works, the mechanics of hoodoo, right? And so I'm really excited to share with you all what I put together, including some things that maybe some of you who do practice hoodoo were not aware of. So I'm really excited about this. This is cool. Also, listen, there are a number of you, a growing number of you that have purchased my Qigong courses. And the feedback is amazing. The feedback on, our monoatomic gold is also amazing. Some of the things that are, some of the feedback, Brother Rich, I need your Addy, bro, so I can send you something. You know
tonight,
what I mean?
Definitely. I forgot. Tonight, definitely. I'm gonna send it to you.
Also, too, I've got a few more back orders that I still got to get out to. It's on the way. Yeah, bro. I can't keep it now.
Oh man, wow. I can't wait to try it, my brother.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to try it. Let me give a shout out to these brothers real quick. As I've been letting y'all know this week, I'm helping the brothers over at I Never Knew TV to promote the program, the conference they got going on this weekend. They got the Holistic Health Conference happening in Philadelphia with some heavy hitters. So if you're in the area, make sure you stop by. The information is going to be in the description, as well as they got the website I Never Knew TV. All right, make sure you go support that if you are in the Philadelphia area. All right,
sure.
And with that being said, yeah, I'm excited to hear your presentation,
Brother Rich. Let me ask you, why did you pick this topic? Why did you pick this topic?
I think I heard Red Pill. Red Pill did a show, and he had said it was Hoodoo Heritage Month.
It is Hoodoo Heritage Month. Shout out to Red Pill. Shout out to the pills.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I definitely gotta talk about that. I've been hearing the brother Tariq Nasheed been talking about hoodoo a lot this year, and I've been hearing him talking about the hoodoo and the things that the Black Americans, the magic that we used to engage in. So I want to know some of the science, science behind it. You know what I'm saying? I love to know that. And that's why I called it. I said, Sharif got it. He got it down pat when it comes to showing the science behind any and everything we do. So yeah, so I'm like, Sharif is the man to call with this. So I'm just very excited about this presentation, brother. Very.
Yeah. So I mean, let's go, man. Let's get into it.
All right, let's see.
Pull up the presentation and we get moving.
Once again, before we get started, shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
If you missed the live earlier, the video I got yesterday was taken down. Sharif, just a reminder, make the thing that happened in 2020. Make sure you don't talk. I did a video yesterday. A brother mentioned it. They took the video down. They had me do a virtual class about YouTube censorship. So Family, that video is unfortunately I was able to save it on my StreamYard, so it's on Patreon right now. So you could go to my Patreon and look at that video. The brother RFG was dropping it, but the censorship and what they be doing with that thing that happened in 2020. So I just got to remind. Sometimes I forget to remind the guests. How YouTube gets down. But let's get to this. This is going to be a powerful night, Friday night. Sharif,
Absolutely.
Let me put this up on the screen. I know the people.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, Hoodoo Magick. That's right. First, before we even get into the next slide, that term magic, right?
Yes.
Because we all grew up, and I keep having to pound this in. This is very important. We grew up in a Euro-Judeo-Christian psychology, or under that, right? And that psychology was facilitated through terrorism, flat out.
Right.
The actual terroristic mechanism was the Spanish Inquisition, which we're going to talk about briefly a little bit later, right? But that process forced the world, especially the Western world, into a particular way of thinking. So when we hear the word magic, it spooks us out. Even a little bit, it does, right? So let's say this. The scientific definition of magic is this, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
To cause change in conformity to one's will. That's it, right? Aleister Crowley said this. He said the proper magical operation from going from one room to another is turning a doorknob.
Wow.
That's magic.
Yeah.
That's it. To cause change in conformity to one's will. Now, we've been, like through the Spanish Inquisition, other things, we have been conditioned to believe that the psyche is just something that exists inside of our head, and that's it. Right? Our forefathers, in teaching the Europeans during the medieval age, when it came to things like physics, presumed and included the human psyche as part of the study of physics, brother. This is what was removed. Ali Elijah Muhammad said the European put the Asiatic, or put our people to sleep. This is how. Removing the study and the operation of human psyche in the scientific process. See? So now when we add that, now we start to get into some real interesting things when we start talking about causing change in conformity to one's will.
Right.
When people start talking about manifesting, that's magic, people. Because what are you doing? Causing change in conformity to the will. See?
Love,
yes, sir.
Love how you make this simple, my brother.
Yes, sir. All right, Hoodoo. These are generalities. And again, remember, I am not in the traditional sense a Hoodoo practitioner, right? There are those that are watching this live that are. Shout out to, I believe, Alien Black Girl. Shout out to Alien Black Girl. She practices Hoodoo in the traditional sense. So Hoodoo is an African-American spiritual practice that focuses on contact and traffic with the spirits or intelligences of the natural environment. There's a whole lot in that statement, in which we're going to get into deeper a little bit later. Herbs, roots, etc. are what? Embodiments of actual intelligences that we can communicate with and that educate or can educate us. There's a ton of info in that statement as well, right? The practice provides pathways to greater spirits or intelligences, right? And Hoodoo is a representation, an African representation of what the European West calls animism. Animism, right? And this comes, it's connected to the people of Benin and Togo. All right, next slide. Now let's get a little deep. Animism, what does it mean? It's a category of spiritual work that recognizes and works with the intelligences within the natural environment. Let's stop right there. According to the European psychology, or the psychology we grew up under, there's no such thing. Right? No such thing. All right, let's go further. Takes into account, recognizes, and honors the spirits, entities, and intelligences that inhabit the natural environment of wherever one may be, and comprises a key component of what we call occult or esoteric engineering. This, what I just said, is huge. So let's get a little deep, people. Let's get a little deep. All right? Let me stop right there and let's talk about that for a second. Old world technology, like I said earlier, old world technology included the human psyche as a means of observation of non-physical or spiritual phenomena. Let me say that again. Our forefathers, the science and technology of our forefathers and mothers, utilized the human psyche as a means and the primary means of observing non-physical or spiritual phenomena in a scientific way. All right. So old world technology took such things into consideration. What do they take into consideration? The fact that herbs, trees, things like this have living entities or are connected to a living spiritual matrix that we can communicate with. There we go. So old world technology took such things into consideration when traveling or exploring. This is deep, people. Our forefathers knew that the ingestion of certain foods, herbs, roots that are native to a particular area gave those people access to the spirits of that area. This is a very real aspect of occult or esoteric genetic engineering that can customize or allow us to customize, modify, and adapt an individual to a particular region. Why? Because you are being introduced to the spirits of that region. So let's go back to our brother Abu Bakr II, right? In, I believe, the 13th century. Abu Bakr II leads not one, but two gigantic excursions or explorations to where? The Americas. This is a known fact. So you had a people from the Senegambia region, West Africa, Northwest Africa, traveling across the Atlantic to the Americas. And they stay there. 200 years later, there are more Africans coming, but these Africans are coming from Spain and from the Mediterranean and from North Africa. And they run into the descendants of those from the Senegambia. Would these people be Africans or would they be Native Americans? Or would they be both? See? A century or a couple centuries of assimilating with the bioenergetics and with the spiritual presence of the Americas, right? Changed those people. You understand? Changed their expression. So they're both descendants of Africans and Native Americans simultaneously. Does this make sense, Brother Rich?
Had it on mute. Amazing sense. Absolutely amazing, brother. Keep going.
Yes, sir. This is, it's really exciting. It's exciting.
Yes, very, very,
you know
very exciting. Yes.
So this is a legacy or a remnant of our old world technology that takes into account the human psyche and the higher bodies of the human experience. Some of you may be familiar with what's his name? Carlos Castaneda and his work out in the the Arizona region. His shamanistic travels with a man named Don Juan, right? And his spiritual explorations in communicating with certain hallucinogen plants like peyote. See? Like people have asked me, like especially with the monoatomic gold, they say, hey, what if you combine monoatomic gold with mushrooms? I'm like, yeah, be careful. See, the monoatomic gold gives you greater access, but ingesting the mushroom, I'm not against it, but ingesting a mushroom, you are you just incorporated an alien, literally, another life form. I'm not saying it's bad, just know what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? And so what are we doing when we commune with the psilocybin or with the DMT that's in or the mushroom, right? You are communicating with it and it is communicating with you. That's what's happening, people. See? That is exactly what's happening, right?
Wow.
All right. Let me see. Next slide. Oh, no. Keep it on the same slide. I'm sorry, I didn't even finish this slide, brother. You got me. I'm amped up. All right, yeah, I definitely didn't finish. So, again, you know, this takes into account and recognizes and honors the spirits, entities, and intelligences that inhabit the natural environment of wherever one may be. And it comprises a key component of what we call occult or esoteric genetic engineering. Who would have thought? I mean, some of you that are familiar with macrobiotic cooking, macrobiotic dieting, understand this. It's a very simple thing. You live in a particular region. One of the best practices in terms of food is to eat the food of the region you're in. See? But who would have thought of it from a spiritual perspective that the things that you're ingesting have a spirit? This is deep. This is a remnant of the old world spiritual technology of our forefathers and foremothers that takes into account the human psyche and the higher bodies of the human experience. Now, if you're not taking, please screenshot this slide, people. On the right is a huge secret. I've shared this secret before. I've shared it before, man. Listen, it's called the triad of spiritual reality. You see at the top of the triangle, it says the word energy. Energy equals information. This is very easy for us to understand. You walk into a room, you read the energy of the room, right? We've all done it. We've all done it. Right? Or somebody has a bad attitude, you're reading their energy. Why? Because there's information carried with the energy. Am I right? All right. Now, here's the part where you have to take a little bit of a leap. The presence of information indicates the presence of an intelligence. There you go. Understand that, people. Understand that. Right? Some of you that are more spiritually attuned or have more spiritual training know this. They can tell that there's a presence of a particular entity. Why? They get the goosebumps on the outsides of their forearms or on the back of their neck. See what I'm saying? Yeah, that's an energetic sensation on the physical body indicating what? The presence of an intelligence. See? And the more attuned we get to these things through practice and repetition, the more details we can ascertain from the encounter. What did you think about the 7 Orisha, right? And how these are like, you know, the way it's taught and passed in practice, like each one is like very detailed in their description, like Papa Legba, or, you know, they have very detailed descriptions, what they eat, how they look, how they dress. Where does that come from? Here you go, people. Energy and information give insight to the character of the intelligence. Let me repeat that. Energy and information give indication of the character and personality of the intelligence. Go ahead, Rich. You were gonna say something?
Yeah. I'm just curious, brother.
Yes,
Sharif, have you ever felt you talked about getting goosebumps when you feel the presence of an entity sometimes?
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you when you started talking to the entity, or?
Absolutely.
So how does that work? And did it talk back? Like, did you get like, did you have a conversation? Like, I know the people are curious about how this works for some people.
This is a great question. It's a great question, right? And again, what we're doing is we're learning to expand our scope of perception and expand our understanding of language and communication.
Yes.
If you got a pet cat or a pet dog, you talk to it every day, and guess what? It talks back to you, doesn't it? It just doesn't say words. But through practice and repetition, you begin to what? Understand its language. You get it?
Yeah.
So there's the language. You know, we say that the most effective language is the most subtle language, like body language. See what I'm saying? We could be saying certain words, but if our body language is funny and it doesn't match up with the words, what do you pay more attention to, the words or the body language?
Yeah, body language.
You already know, right? Especially if you come out of the streets, we watch hands, right? Yeah.
Right.
All right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is no different. But the more you do it, the more detail you begin to see. And there's actual training of this. We could do this right now. Everybody, just take a few seconds. Let's just do it right now. Pick something insignificant in front of you on the wall. It could be a dot on the wall. Look at it. Keep looking at it. The more you look at it, the more details you see. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
And it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And there's more and more and more and more information. The longer you contemplate the thing, the longer you hold the thought. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What I just explained to you is an actual practice in many esoteric schools.
Mm-hmm. Hey, one more question before you. Like
Yes,
I said, this is and somebody just put up. What was that comment? I love when you get a scientific breakdown of the magic all around us. This is why I got Brother Sharif on here tonight, y'all, because it's beyond just us feeling good. This is science.
Yes.
But we've been taught, even Sharif said before, our music is a form of technology.
Straight
but
like
if we don't know this, then we don't tap into its ability because we sleep on it. So this brother is here to bring the science to it, and it's going to make it more real to us, more visceral. It's going to make us feel it more, family.
Brother, that's the fact, brother. That one, if there's no other reason I do these types of things, is to make what's considered fantastic, not just tangible, but routine.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So this is my question, brother. So,
go ahead.
All right. How can I put this? So you say everything is consciousness. Everything has an energy, including this chair.
Everything, brother.
Everything has light. This wall, everything, this hat, this shirt, everything, these headphones, everything is light information.
Everything.
What I noticed, and I know people have reported this, like sometimes you can look at a rug, you can look at the wall, you can look at a lot of things, and you're able to make a pattern of a face. Like you'll see two dots and you'll see lips and a nose, and you'll be like, damn, my face is there. You look down in I'll be in a train in New York City in a train. I look in the train box, I see a face. I look over here, I see a face. Do you think us being able to recognize faces everywhere, is that a way of these things communicating with us to let it know that it is alive? Like by saying, hey,
could be.
You recognize, like I'm just trying to figure out, because that's
that's very dope. There's an actual name for this. Yeah. But in the West, they want to call it a condition. Yeah, it's called pareidolia. That's what it's called.
That's what it's called?
Yeah. It's phenomena wherein people see or perceive likenesses in random things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Faces, animal shapes, like in clouds or in trees or things like that, right? But now we have a saying in the Moorish Science of America: there are no happenings, law governs all events. There ain't no such thing as coincidence.
Right.
If it happens and you see it, then you saw it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it, straight like that.
Damn.
You see? So now that in our experience, it goes hand in hand with another condition where people can smell and taste colors, can hear sounds. This is real. You see what I'm saying? But that's also in the West called a condition, right? What do we call it? We call it an expansion of perception. It's what you're supposed to be doing.
Indeed.
See what I'm saying? You're supposed to be doing these types of things.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Powerful. All right, let's get back to this.
Yeah, let's go.
I know they're having a good time. I told y'all this is gonna be one of the fun. You want me to go to the next slide?
Yeah, next slide. All right. Here we go. And you all know me. This is a thing that I'm big on. I'm big on it, right? I'm big on despookifying our old world practices, right? And one of the easiest ways to do it is to compare it with something that you may be familiar with or maybe more comfortable with. What are we comfortable with? This is keep it real. Let's be real. We are comfortable with westernized explanations of science. We are comfortable with what's called scientism, not science. Scientism, in other words, the European did what he did with religion, which is why a lot of us don't like religion. Let's talk about that for a hot second. Is because we were given a weaponized religious structure. So now we throw the baby out with the bathwater and say we don't like religion altogether. Okay, I understand, and I understand that. But guess what? The European did that with science as well. There was a Nicene Council on Science. In other words, if you can't physically hear, touch, taste, smell, right? then it doesn't exist. Well, that's not science. That's bad. So that's bad psychology is what it is. That's what that is. So anyway, old world technology or cosmology, the 7 planes of manifestation that's taught in many old world spiritual, occult, and religious ideologies, and a modern day cutting edge quantum physics counterpart that was first put forward by the prize winning physicist David Bohm. That's Bohm. David Bohm came up with what's called the implicate order. He said in higher space-time, or not space-time, but higher dimensional space, there exists a pattern, a like electromagnetic or magnetoelectric pattern that informs matter on 3 dimensions on not only its construction, but its order of construction. Let me explain. You've got cells in your body. You got a blood cell in your body. It's following an instruction to be a blood cell. How do we know? Because it was formerly a stem cell. And a stem cell is an undifferentiated cell. It's a cell that could be anything, a brain cell, a nerve cell, a blood cell. Get it? So when you got a blood cell, that means it followed an instruction from somewhere. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. When it no longer gets its instruction, guess what? It could do its own thing. So maybe now that blood cell thinks it's what? Maybe it thinks it's an organ. Guess what that's called? Cancer. See? Because it's no longer following the implicate order. Now, in the old world teaching, in the old world, it talked about 7 planes or worlds or realms of existence, and it named them, right? In our tradition, it was protoplast, earth, plant, beast, man, angel, cherubim. Okay? When the Muslims or the Muslims, recite the Al-Fatiha and they say, Maliki al-Medin, right? Lord of, Maliki al-Medin, Lord of all the worlds, 7 planes. That's what they're speaking about. All right. What are you looking at? You're looking at an old world version of David Bohm's implicate order.
Wow.
That's what you're looking at, people. In our tradition, we say this in the yellow: these planes with all their teeming thoughts of Allah are never seen by eyes of man in flesh. They are composed of a substance far too fine for fleshy eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Allah. All creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. Hold on, Brother Sharif. You telling me that crystals can think? You absolutely right. How do they know how to form themselves into hexagonal shapes? How do they store information? Right, okay. See? They function on what plane? The earth or mineral plane. Right. You hear scientists today talking about extraterrestrial life, and if they're smart or if they're more comprehensive and responsible, they'll say, yeah, life as we know it. And how do we know life? In the present Western thinking or Western psychology, it must be carbon-based. But now there's articles that have been out for years talking about the possibility of silicone-based life. Oh, that's earth or mineral. How about that? All things have a measure of intelligence, all things. Therefore, all things can be communicated with and can, within their measure, respond and interact. In other words, we have scientific proof or evidence towards the reality and the effectiveness of hoodoo. Next slide. Next slide, brother. These are various articles. You can pull them up. Smithsonian Magazine, back in 2018, do trees talk to each other? Not only do they talk to each other, yes, they do, but they recognize you too. That's a fact. Look at the bottom left. Silicone-based life may be more than just science fiction. Scientists are showing that nature can evolve to incorporate silicon into carbon-based molecules, the building block. Come on. That's evidence towards what? Mineral-based intelligence. We don't even have to talk about animals. See? Talk to any of our Native American brothers about communicating with animals. My good friend and brother, Randy Wittenheimer, who worked on special access projects, top secret projects for the military and other private corporations, at one point he was training special forces. And one of the first things he was training them on was tracking. But guess what he had to teach them? Something that they teach in their tradition, in their Native American tradition for ages. And guess what that was? Communicating with nature, communicating with the ground, communicating with the trees. It's part of their tradition. That's old world science, people. Next slide. Now we get into some interesting stuff. So this is Hoodoo. I'm giving a different perspective, a perspective not that well known. Hoodoo from the Voudon-Gnostic perspective. I say Voudon-Gnostic perspective. Why? Because the Voudon-Gnostic perspective is a hybrid perspective of old world and European old world traditions that blended in Haiti with Toussaint Louverture's order, and then relocated itself in the year 1966 to the south side of Chicago. So in this tradition, the Hu spirits are the spirits of the deep water, governed by the master of the worlds on the island under the sea. What's the island under the sea? What's that? What is that? What is it? Atlantis, people. Spirits of the old Atlantean priesthood related to Yemaya and Olokun. They often manifest as frogs, turtle, fish, and snakes. We're going to get back to that thing about frogs. Any of our people who traditionally practice hoodoo, there's a special relationship with frogs. We're going to get back to that. The orientation of these spirits, of the Hu spirits, is the west, and the element is water. The Du spirits, they are the spirits of the realm of souls unmanifest, or what we would call dead people. We, in this realm, we used to say dead people. But in the old world tradition, we wouldn't say that. I'll get back to that as well. These spirits are governed by King Papa Nebo and are of the family Gede, the Gede spirits. They manifest as cadavers. They're oriented in the north, and their element is earth. See, hoodoo a lot of times in the West is called sympathetic magic or low magic, right? But why is it called these things? This is why I'm sharing with you now why. Because water and earth out of the four elements are the elements most closest to our physicality. That's why. They're easier to work with to make things manifest. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Next slide. This was pretty quick. I didn't have a whole lot of slides, but I got a chance to pack a lot of things in it.
Man, you teasing us, man. Come on. Come on, man. You dead wrong for this, man. You dead wrong for this, man.
But now, here I mentioned before, I'm not a hoodoo practitioner, but I know some people are like, how does he know so much about hoodoo? Well, this is why, right? When we talk about Moorish science or Moorish history, right? We're talking about the missing link in world history that connects the quote-unquote African American to his proper place in world history. That had to be hidden so that the new world order of Western civilization could take off and rule the world for the first time in history. Let me repeat that. The mystery regarding our true identity in America is necessary for global European imperialism and colonialism, which if you're watching TV nowadays, you see it's crumbling. It's going away. It's going away to dinosaur. All right. In our tradition, we say this. What is the nationality of Ruth? Answer, Ruth was a Moabitess. What is the modern name for Moabites? Moroccans. Where is the Moroccan Empire? Northwest Amexem. What is the modern name for Amexem? Africa. Hold on. Notice I emphasize that word northwest. Remember, we're talking about the hoodoo spirits. All right, the spirits of earth and the spirits of water. One comes from the west, one comes from the north. All right, a little bit of secret history here regarding the Freemasonic tradition. All Freemasons men refer to themselves as sons of the widow. And they say that because in the legend or the mythos of the third degree in Blue Lodge Freemasonry, Hiram Abiff was accosted by 3 ruffians they tried to get from him the secret word. He wouldn't give it. He was faithful to death. And they killed him. And then they killed him on the grounds of the unfinished temple. What did they do? They hid his body under a trash pile, a pile of trash, in the northwest corner of the temple. They hid his body there, understand? And then they marked where they hid him with a sprig of acacia leaf. Acacia is like evergreen. So that's symbolic of what? There's still some life there. All right. You all see where this is going? All Masonic researchers agree that the Masonic legend borrowed the phrase son of a widow from who? Ruth the Moabitess. Guess what that means, people? That means in the truest sense of the word, the true and prophetic Hiram Abiff, who was hit over the head and left for dead, and left in the northwest corner of the temple under a trash heap, is the so-called African-American, Negro, Black, colored man in North America. That's who it is. Robbed of his true old world history and identity and buried under the harmful labels and buried under the trash of antisocial principles of self-sabotage. See that? North America is in the true Northwest. Thus, North America is exactly where we would find the quote-unquote dead people and that the old Atlantean priesthood is now being reborn into. Y'all hear me?
That's deep. You said that before. The Atlantean priesthood is being reincarnated into the black man.
Bro.
Yeah.
The quote-unquote dead people, the zombies of Northwest. What people in the history of humanity have ever been called the dead people? That's what Negro means.
Mm.
Yo, man, listen. Next slide.
Oh, man.
You all have seen this slide before, but I had to bring it up. This was written, or this is an excerpt from a book called The Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids, written by a British man by the name of Peter Tompkins. It says, designed for the detection and punishment of heretics, the Inquisition was used as a giant pork barrel for the enrichment of the crown, church, and inquisitors, while cheerfully eliminating dangerous radicals. Who were those? Those who had been taught medicine, geography, rhetoric, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and astronomy, quote unquote, magic, by Moorish philosophers in universities such as Cordova, whose libraries had since been destroyed. As a result, no Spaniard could write, speak, or even think without taking into consideration the fires of the Holy Office. As a deterrent to possible opposition to the Inquisition in New Spain. Where's New Spain?
Where?
New Spain was their area that we now call Mexico, Texas, California, and Florida.
Mm.
As a deterrent to possible opposition in New Spain, 34 Negroes, including 4 women, were hanged and decapitated in Mexico City. What? What in the world? Here we go. Number 1. What we can infer from this, Africans were in the Americas in significant numbers to warrant concerns about the opposition to the Inquisition. And these Africans were intimately connected to the social upheaval in Old World Spain. See, you never heard that before. See what I'm saying? Man, oh man, this is... Next slide. This is my last slide, people. This is the last slide. Hoodoo is an African survivalist spiritual practice to preserve and continue resistance to colonization, slavery, and oppression, integrated into the Judeo-Christian practice so that Africans, be they enslaved or free, could practice the principles of their ancestors covertly while operating within the confines of slavery and Euro-colonialism. In other words, follow me. I had mentioned before about medieval Islam and why Moorish history is hidden. The term the Islamic Empire is synonymous with the Moroccan or Moorish Empire. It was contrary to what colonialist writers have written, and then many Afrocentric writers have picked up on. Islam did not enslave Africa. Islam united Africa. This is why Christian identity is so much against and so much fears an African-based Islam, because Islam united Africa. And these traditions like Hoodoo, the Ifa traditions, the Yoruba traditions, all survived in the Caribbean and the Americas today because they were encouraged by old world medieval Islam as ran by our forefathers. They were encouraged and not put down or suppressed. And that's the fact. That is the fact. See?
I notice a lot of what people would call Black Americans are sensitive about Hoodoo being associated with Africa because it's an American phenomenon.
Yes.
So people will say, like this sister here says, Hoodoo is American,
it
not
is.
African. So yeah.
It goes back to what I had mentioned before. Hoodoo is American. I agree. But now, again, let me use this again as an example, a very powerful one, right? Many of us on this live right now are descendants. Listen close, people. Are descendants of those who came from Mali, ancient Mali, in the 13th century. Hundreds of years before Columbus ever set foot here. So, get it?
Mm-hmm.
So, would those brothers and sisters be African or American? See, here's the problem. While you all contemplate that, let me say this. We were brought up under a European psychology, and in the European psychology, we don't think syncretically. We separate and categorize. So automatically, it must be either or instead of both and. See?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So what was the people from Mali coming in the 13th century? What were they coming for? What was their
It was just exploration. It was exploration. But they didn't. But here's the kicker: they didn't leave. Yeah, they didn't leave. They stayed in the Americas. Why do you think? Hold on. Hundreds of years later, Christopher Columbus and his son Ferdinand record in their own diaries that they needed people who spoke Hebrew and Aramaic when they were in the Caribbean.
So they were speaking Hebrew in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Aramaic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does Barry Fell, archaeologists and anthropologists, find archaeological evidence of Islamic African schools in the Four Corners region, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico?
Right.
Come on, people.
So what would you say? People are very familiar with the word voodoo, not too familiar with the word hoodoo. What would you say the difference between hoodoo and voodoo is?
The main difference between voodoo and hoodoo is just focus. Whereas voodoo or Voudon, they seek more of a direct connection and relationship to higher spiritual powers, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas hoodoo is more animist in perspective, looking at and trafficking with the spirits in natural things like twigs, trees, rocks. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Is there a connection? Of course there's a connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course there's a connection. You see what I'm saying? But it's just perspective. One is, let me not use the word easier. One is, how can I put it? It's just perspective. It's just perspective. You see?
This the sister here says, Erin says, these are big facts. I think the expedition here was led by Mansa Musa and the gang. They are tribes that still utilize the word Allah, according to, I think, Dr. Valentine. And, you know, I think they're posted, they're doing a movie now on Mansa Musa.
Yes.
I'm not sure. But
Yes.
what was the deal with Mansa Musa? People know him as the richest man in recorded history and him coming to America. What's his relationship to America?
It wasn't Mansa Musa that came. It was his brother, Abu Bakr II, and that's how Mansa Musa took the throne.
Okay.
Abu Bakr left the throne and came over here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But see, that information, I mean, it's coming out now.
Yeah.
Right? But if people have already been conditioned on how to think, that information can be right in your face and you won't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
See? We've been conditioned to think that the new world, America, just had a bunch of nomadic pale Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how we've been conditioned to think, isn't it? I'll give you another example. We were taught in grade school, in high school, when we studied biology and anatomy, we were taught that tendons and ligaments store and release power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. But we were socialized into thinking that muscles do it.
Mm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Socialization has a heavier impact.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We know that Columbus didn't discover America, but it's still in the school books, isn't it?
Right.
That's socialization.
You know, you mentioned something earlier when you was going into the science of hoodoo, and you said something real quick, but I caught it because there's another guy, Robert Schubert, I forget his name. It's a white gentleman, and you had used the term magneto-electric, and this guy says there's a distinct difference. We're very familiar with the term electromagnetic,
but not magneto-electric.
Right. So I want to know, what is the difference? Because he's the only one I heard talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
In electromagnetism, that's the condition that exists here in what we call regular 3D space. So here we have what's called entropy, right? Things don't improve, they degrade. You get older. Things that are going fast slow down. Get it? That's called entropy. But in a magneto-electric universe, it's reverse entropy. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So like superconductivity is a manifestation of magneto-electric phenomena. Meaning it's just gonna run forever. No slowing down, no stoppage, no degrading, forever. See? There you go. That's also why superconductivity experiments are under lock and key for the most part.
Right.
Especially room temperature superconductivity. Especially things like magnetic monopoles. Look it up. Things like that under lock and key.
Yeah, I think his last name was Sheldrake. If anybody wants
Rupert Sheldrake.
Rupert Sheldrake, yeah.
Rupert Sheldrake came up with he took David Bohm's implicate order a step further, called it the morphogenic field.
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
And our sister from China, Mei Wan Ho, took it a step even further and applied it to biological things like flesh things and called it the biogenic field. Yeah.
She got that book.
What's
the name of that book? The Rainbow something?
Yes.
Yeah, you made me get it. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but I'm glad I got
Bruh. Serious. What are we looking at? When you're looking at Mei Wan Ho's work, Rupert Sheldrake's work, you're looking at cutting edge quantum physics proof that magic is real. Proof that the human psyche, that human perception changes physical reality. And if it changes physical reality, then the reality out there is an illusion. The real reality is between your ears.
Now, when we talk about voodoo and we talk about the tongue being the wand, I need somebody to do a whole presentation on the science of the tongue. That is a hell of a technology, that tongue, man. I mean, we use it for so many things in this realm. Taste food. You can use
the tongue. The base of the tongue is here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that studies, the chakra system or the Hindu system, right? The throat chakra is the chakra of what? Manifest creation. You hear what I just said?
Yeah.
All right. So in the Arabic and the Muslims, in Islam, we say kum fayakun, meaning Allah said what? He said be, and it is.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, that's a higher phallus function, brother. Isn't it? All right. And it's on the other end of the spine, right?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes,
I was about to just ask it. I gotta. Oh, man, I might have to come back on the screen for this one. Hold on. Yes, family, I told y'all we got about 2,300 people in the chat. This is a good one, y'all. This is a real good one, an important one. Just like last night was a good one and an important one. Yeah. But what I want to ask you, well, let me write something down real quick.
Sure.
I don't want to lose.
Shout out to King Tron. King Tron said something real powerful in the chat. I agree.
What'd he say?
I'll just say it this way. He said it a little harshly, not harshly, but a little blunt. I'll just say it this way. The greatest lessons are hidden in what's not being said.
That's facts.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Back to the tongue. We're talking about hoodoo. We're talking about magic. We're talking about manifestation.
Yes.
We're talking about the manipulation of elements or bringing things from one realm to the next.
Right.
One of the main weapons or tools we use is our tongue. The word.
Yes.
Couple of questions about the tongue when it comes to hoodoo and when it comes to magic, and maybe our ancestors knew something we did not know. The first thing I want to ask you is about what we call, they said this language was forced on us. I want to ask you about what we call Ebonics. And is that language more connected with magic than regular English? And the reason why I ask that is the way we manipulate the English language. It kind of makes it a little, it gives you more of a feeling when you use. So like if I say, I'm going to make it rain, like I feel that shit instead of saying, I'm going to throw dollar bills.
No doubt.
In the corner, I'll be like, nigga, I'm going to make it rain. You feel that when you use Ebonics. And that's why sometimes I'll use Ebonics when I explain something intellectually, because it gives it the people feel what I'm saying instead of hearing it. So in terms of manifestation, how magical is the language that we use? Even shit, we say, yo, that shit is hot. Or yo, like just it's amazing. Talk to me about
bro. You answered the question in the question. Here we go. Right? When you say, yo, I'm gonna make it rain, right?
Yeah.
You're still using English.
Yeah.
Here we go. We created one of the, if arguably we've created them all, but in recent time, we created one of the greatest forms of music the world has ever seen, and that's hip hop.
Yeah.
But we did it with instruments and things that we didn't make. We ain't make records. We don't press vinyl. Matter of fact, some of the music that we use, we didn't make. Am I right?
Right.
Like Bob James, Take Me to the Mardi Gras. That's what, come on. Any hip hop head worth their salt knows what that is. That's one of the most classic break beats ever. Right? Okay. Bob James did that. But look what we did with it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is me, right? Vibration is vibration is vibration is vibration, and language is vibration. Just like what our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico did with the Ifa tradition that came from West Africa. And I won't say it came here via slavery. When Mansa Musa, when Abu Bakari was here hundreds of years prior, right? But that being said, look what they did under oppression. They understood the mechanics. They understood the mathematics, the operational mathematics behind the Ifa traditions, and were able to match them with Catholic saints because they matched the mathematical function. And now you have Santeria, where they can be on the surface, oh, It's Catholicism. They're safe. Not
Mhm.
really. That's what Hoodoo did.
That's what Hoodoo
In
did.
the church.
In the church, in the Christianity.
Actual fact.
Mhm.
Hoodoo did the same thing. But to do that, you had to have a very powerful and deep understanding of the mechanics, the spiritual mechanics, to be able to match those things. You see what I'm saying? That's power right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See? And so the language, but you, like I said, you answered your own question, right? In my opinion. It's like you're using the same English language with the same English words, but what did you do? You recombine the functional and operational mathematics behind them.
Mm-hmm.
To express something that only you and only people connected to you can understand.
Mm.
See what I'm saying?
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So the next question about the tongue, like I said, there has to be a detailed presentation one day, family, about the power of the tongue, family, for real. And I think A.A. Rashid had a book at one time.
Yo, shout out to Ahmed, man. That's my bro.
Yeah, he had a book called something on the tongue. What was the name of that book AA had on the tongue, y'all? Swords, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think it was called Swords.
Yo, listen. You support our brother. Support him. That man's a genius. You hear me?
You know, hands down.
Sheesh. He's
hands
a
down.
genius, bro.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So the next question I want to ask you about the tongue. We're talking about magic and hoodoo, and one of the main tools we use is the tongue and the voice to express ourselves when it comes to these magical acts.
Yes.
They say, everybody studies quantum physics, people are in metaphysics, and we now know that the only part of the brain that you can see is the eyes. The eyes are an extension of the brain. The rest of the brain is encased in your head, but the eyes are extension of your brain. So you're basically seeing a part of my brain when you see my eyes. What I want to ask you, my brother, is because they say the heart is the first organ that's created when a baby's in the stomach. The first thing
actually it's the kidney.
It's the kidney. Then kidney, what? Then the heart, or
kidney, spinal cord, heart. Yeah.
What I want to ask you, if the eyes are the only part of the brain that you can see, is it possible that the tongue is the only part of the heart that we can see?
Yes. Chinese medicine lends to that. Medicine lends to that. It does. I kind of like that. That's going to send me down to
the research.
The research. No, straight like that. Fact. But now I want to give I'm all about practicality.
Yeah.
All right. Can I give the audience an experiment?
Please.
And it'll only take a few minutes, people.
Come on, let's go.
This is part of our training, people. This is part of actual training in real esoteric orders. This is what I'd like you to do. Please follow me. Right? All right. Oh. First, take your hand. Rub your finger on your hand. All right, cool. You see how it feels, right? This is what I want you to do now. Look at your hand. Feel the texture of your hand with your eyes. Let me know when you can do it. You feel it? Okay, good. Now, look at something else near you that you have not touched. Feel the texture of it with your eyes. Can you do it? Yeah. Go back to your hand. Feel the difference between the texture of your hand and the texture of whatever it is you just looked at. Can you feel the difference with your eyes?
Yeah.
All right. That's a preliminary exercise.
I like that.
Okay, now let's take it a step further. Close your eyes, everybody. Feel the skin of your eyelid moving around behind or the skin of your eye moving against your eyelid. Move your eye around so you could feel it. You feel it? Open your eyes. Feel the skin of your eyes. Feel the skin on your eyeballs. Can you feel it? Can you sense the skin on your eyeballs? Can you do it?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Now we're ready to do the exercise. Look at your hand. Keep your eyes open. Feel the texture of your hand with your eyes. You feel it? With your eyes still looking in the same direction, feel the skin of your eyeball. Now, do it. Now feel the skin of your hand. Now feel the skin of your eyeball.
Come on, slow down.
Now feel, all right.
I love this type of shit, man.
Yeah.
I love this type of shit, man.
Yeah.
I love this type of shit. Wow, man.
If you were doing it correctly, you could feel your own intent move from the eye to the hand and then back to the eye, almost to the point where it felt like something smacking you in the face.
Wow, man.
See that?
Yeah.
This is practice of being able to literally utilize the intent the same way you use a finger to reach out and touch someone.
Right. Man.
And energy follows intention.
Yeah.
So if I could put my intent on you, just like you put your intent on your hand, get it? You see where this is going?
Yeah.
All right.
I just used this example yesterday on the show, and I said I used it before the same way. And this is a very simple example. The same way you could use your intention and make your energy flow to use the bathroom. Like if you're in the bath, same thing. And that's an easy thing that we do all the time that we don't even realize. Sometimes we use our intention to use the bathroom the same way we do it, that we could do it with so many other things, man. So definitely. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Who is, we're talking about Hoodoo, who is High John the Conqueror?
High John the Conqueror. I mean, you know, see, I am not a traditional or a practitioner of traditional voodoo. I'm sorry, hoodoo, you know. So I know about High John the Conqueror in the general sense. You see what I'm saying? I would, and me again, just being responsible and being honest, I'm not going to speak to something that I'm not that versed on. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, but he's considered, among other things, a deity or an entity within this, the Hoodoo spiritual system.
Right. Yeah.
He's associated with well, here we go. Right? He's associated with having what they call in Hoodoo a high nature. Right? Now, high nature meaning what? Like very, very, very virile sexuality and sexual power. Okay. Now, in any occult or esoteric or spiritual technology, having this, a male or man having this type of high nature is the root. It's the foundation. From the Hindu perspective, that means you've awakened Kundalini. It's not gone up yet. Understand? But this is a dangerous period. This is a dangerous point. You got to wake it up. But this is a dangerous or a hazardous stage because you're still dealing with raw and unrefined energy. You see? And so the more lower and infernal entities are now attracted. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we got to wake it up and then we got to raise it up.
Right.
Because if you don't raise it up, then you're feeding some things that, can cause you problems later.
Right. Indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this now. When it comes to Hoodoo, when it comes to all of these books, and I remember when I first got into metaphysics, they had all of these books on magic and all these spells in the book.
Yes.
It appears, Sharif, now I may be wrong,
yes,
but it appears that all these magical spells don't work today like people claim they work back in the day. What is the difference between
let's explain why.
Yes.
Okay, let's explain why. I mentioned this to you before, and I don't know if on this show. Follow my analogy, please, everybody. I was talking to Brother Claude, our elder Claude Anderson, who's brilliant, right? When it comes to talking about community economics for our people and how we can, right? Brilliant. But I told the brother years ago, I said, listen, dear brother, what you put down is dope. It's brilliant. But there's a problem. You've built a perfect toaster, but it's not plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what you mean it's not plugged in? I said, you know as well as I do, or at least I think you do, that without us, our people loving and trusting each other, there can be no community economics.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never spend with each other. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We'll never do it. If we don't learn to love instead of hate, if we don't learn to love and trust each other on sight.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I mentioned how we were buried under a trash heap of antisocial behavior. We don't trust each other. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't trust each other. We got to start with that first, or else none of this other stuff works. Now, back to your question.
Mm-hmm.
You can have this 5th and 6th books of Moses. You can have the esoteric translation of the Psalms. You can have all these all this spell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All that. You can have all the Veves. You can have all that stuff. But if you yourself are the magic wand, if you yourself aren't transformed, it doesn't matter. And that's the stuff that's kept secret. If like the exercise I just gave you guys, that's an exercise. We call it weightlifting for the mind, because the human psyche is a thing. Western psychology and Western sociology has taught us to put this to sleep. So if you did that exercise correctly, you could feel your consciousness, your intent go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You could feel it. And if you practice it, just like lifting weights, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, see? Now when I put my intent on a thing and I say those words, see? That's the thing.
Let me ask you this, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Once again, amazing show. Sharif trying to make this the show of the year, y'all. I mean, this is a good one here, and I got a lot of good ones this year. This is a good one here.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure I just mentioned books. We're talking about magic. We're talking about making magic work, making it happen, and me observing that a lot of people that I see buy these books, yes, they're not tapping into the magic like how they want to. Right. I want to ask you this, brother.
Sure.
Do you think, I'm thinking about how our people used to be, and I don't think they read books like we read books today.
Agree.
I even remember, and I don't agree with everything Dr. Sabi says.
Right.
But he was kind of against books. He said, I ain't never read a book in my life. I don't read no books. Right. He was more about tapping in with the plants and channeling. Do you think, they say there's a difference between melanin dominant people and melanin recessive people. Do you think book reading is more for melanin recessive people? And I guess you could say channeling is more suitable for melanin dominant people. And when we engage in more book reading, we kind of lose access to these powers because we're now giving our attention to a book when we should be giving it to what some may call the quantum field, source, whatever you want to call that. What do you think about that?
Bro, that's a great question.
Yeah.
The head or the hierophant of the order that I mentioned, the Voudon-Gnostic order called the OTOA, he said it like this: we want to avoid at all costs of becoming ivory tower occultists. In other words, we want to avoid just having the book knowledge and being able to talk about chakras and the color of the chakras and with no real skill.
Right.
Knowledge without skill, what's the point? In the Moorish science Civil of America, we say if man must know, he must first be what he knows. So for us, knowing is doing. If you can't do it, you don't know it.
No, you don't know it.
And that's harsh, but it's real. If you can't do it, you don't know it, right? That said, we can fall into the intellectual grave of just being ivory tower practitioners. I got a lot of books, and I've read a lot of books, and I can talk about these things. See what I'm saying? Right. We don't want to be that. That's undesirable. Now, there are a few people, just like you got people that are naturally talented at a particular thing. You got a number of us that came out of the womb being able to see. came out of the womb being able to do some things, but no real training. So they don't have a full control over what it is.
Okay.
They need the books.
Right. Okay.
They need the books. See that? They need the school that shapes their ability. See? Most of us need practical work.
Okay.
If you're not doing it, you don't know. See what I'm saying? And I'm saying that not to be critical of our people that are in that space, but it's a friendly and brotherly challenge. Like, yo, let's get busy, people. Let's not just talk about it. Let's not just, I can talk. Nah, man. No, what I would no. Listen. Tell you an exercise that some of my brothers do. We'll talk about, okay, on such and such a day, we're going to go to sleep and we're going to meet a particular place in the dream space. And we're going to know who made it to the meeting because the next day we're going to tell each other what we were wearing when we were there. So let's talk about stuff like that.
I like that. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Let's not play with this thing because all that's going to do is piss your forefathers off. See? Yeah, it's not play, man. It's not play.
All right, let's keep this thing going, y'all. This is a real good one. Okay, so let me ask you this. Then I'm gonna get to we at the 111 mark. We at the 111. Okay, we at the 111 mark. All right. You talked earlier. I think I'm gonna get to some questions from y'all family. Let me just ask one more question. Then I'm gonna get to a couple of questions from the people, everybody, family in the chat. You talked earlier about eating local foods.
Yes.
Now, once again, I'm observing, I'm a Virgo, I'm analyzing the differences between our ancestors and how we live.
Yes.
We live in a society, Brother Sharif, I go to Whole Foods, my bananas is from Costa Rica, my blueberries is from Washington.
Yes.
My pears is from Colorado.
Right.
But they're all organic. But they're all over the place.
Right.
Brother Sharif. So what I want to ask you, do you think us being more sick these days, our health not being the same as it was back in the day, do you think the global economy, us eating from other geographical locations, can be attributed to that as well, regardless of whether it's fruit, regardless of whether it's organic, or regardless of how healthy it is, my brother?
If I were to be just be very blunt, very straightforward, and this is an indictment on myself too. Yeah. Bro, we're industrialized. Anybody who's spent a month in the mountains or in the bush in Jamaica knows exactly what I'm talking about. You go there, how are you eating? Off the vine, off the tree, out of the market. Right? And so it's different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here, it just is what it is. We, like even in more ancient time, right? When you talk about civilization moving from the hunter-gatherer stage to the agricultural stage, right? Hunter-gatherer is hunter-gatherer. That's like a paleo type of diet. Low fat, everybody was lean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when things move towards agriculture, we're farming now. Now we get to produce mass amounts of food. People are more sedentary. That was gave the rise of city states.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. It's just what happened. Now, fast forward to now, where the soil, just in mineral content alone, is 40 to 60% less of the essential minerals you need.
Yeah.
So even if it's organic, it's like, yeah, okay, but you're only getting maybe 40% of the natural minerals and things that your body needs, as opposed to 50 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So we're in bad shape, and we don't got a ton of options. It's just the truth. Now you could do and again, most of us are not this gangster. Most of us are not this detail oriented about what we put in our body. We pay more attention to what we put in our cars than what we put in our body. And that's just the truth. See? How much magnesium does the human body need? How much magnesium do you need? Woo. How about zinc, especially men? See? We don't know these things.
Yeah.
But we know we want 93 or 94 in our vehicle. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to pay attention to these things. But we don't. So to your point, brother, you know, I think an answer to your question just opens up 3 or 4 extra doors and brings in about 20 more problems.
Yeah.
If we're really, I'm not saying the problems are insurmountable, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to pay a lot more attention if we really want to address these types of issues in terms of nutrients that our body needs, how much of these nutrients we're actually getting from our food, how many of us even know the difference between food and a food byproduct.
Right.
Because when you go to the store, if it's in a box, it's not food. If it's not in the refrigerated section, it's not really food.
Yeah. Yo, I'm about to take some Q&A from the family.
Yes.
Before I do, quick question. This is off topic, but I was just reading this man's work a little earlier, and I'm just curious if you're familiar with his work.
Hold on, real quick. Shout out to OB11. He got it right. He got the, or she, he or she, whoever that is, got it right. 420 milligrams daily of magnesium.
Oh, dope. Fire. Let me see. Where's OB at? Let me see.
Yeah.
Fire. Have you ever heard of the this guy named Gurdjieff's work?
Yeah, Gurdjieff, of course, bro.
Yeah. I was just.
He was an Islam. Listen, he was an Islamic mystic,
bro.
Esoteric Islam, which the Moorish science symbol of America is also as well. Now, that said, Hitler, in his book, My Struggle, called Mein Kampf, that was the name of the book, right? He spoke about Friedrich Nietzsche's Übermensch, or the Superman, the coming evolved man. The very man that Crowley spoke about when he said that the sons of the soil are men of earth, speaking about our people in America. He said the worst thing that you could do to them is unfit them for their evident purpose, and that is supplying the world with supermen. That's what Crowley said. So Hitler, in his book Mein Kampf, he said this is a quote. He said, "I have seen the new man. He was cruel and intrepid, and I was afraid of him." He was specifically talking about G.I. Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff had waged a psychic war against Hitler.
Are you serious? So no, let me just say this real quick, because you got this. This is crazy, yo. Because I'm doing my research on the Black Sun, because I'm preparing for the documentary next year, and it led me to Gurdjieff, and I had read some of his works years ago, but I didn't really go in deep with his work. So he waged Gurdjieff waged a psychic war against Hitler.
Yeah, against the Nazis. Yes.
And what was the result of this?
Well, that I don't know 100%. Yeah. Right. I just know that Hitler was quite aware of it, and Hitler wrote in his book he was scared of him.
Oh shit. Yo, this is some crazy shit, man. Yo, this is some crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, that topic is for another day. Like I said, I'm doing research. I'm preparing for this big documentary that I'm putting together. I don't know if it's a documentary or a docu-series, but I'm putting together something big next year. And I'll keep you updated about it. I already contacted the brother Sharif. He's definitely going to be in it. And I'm just doing my research right now. But let's get to some Q&A. We at the hour 18 mark. Magnificent show. Let's get to some Q&A, family. Give me some questions in the chat.
Yes.
Where the name of the show is Hoodoo Magic.
Yeah.
What a show. Let me see if there's any I got a lot of super chats tonight. Let me just start by giving a shout out to everybody. Shockwave, you done sent a lot of super chats. You got a lot to say. They were still trading. Okay, no, I don't know.
And the link was never broke with the old world. We have African things here and some. Yeah, actual fact. He's right. He's right.
He done sent all types of super chats in order to manifest.
But these things went into what we call occultation. In other words, they were hidden for a reason. You know, to start talking about the real old world connections and pre-Columbian connections across the Atlantic and get your head chopped off at a particular point in time. You couldn't talk about those things.
He also said in the West, you are called dyslexic if you read from left to right. This is just a holdover from the old world when we read that way. If you teach your dyslexic child right to left,
they learn.
Okay, all right.
Remember we talked about that in the show with Billy Carson?
Yeah. Remember, I brought out the recorder. Remember,
Yes, sir.
we had fun that show. We had a lot of fun that show.
Right.
Man.
Right.
He also said the Who manifested here in South Louisiana as reverse to the origin north. The Western Nile is the Mississippi and reverse up through
the Cahokia Mountains. To the Cahokia Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. But see, Shockwave is talking about stuff that, like I said, is kept hush even to this day in many circles. There's some people that talk openly about it, but they only know it in a shallow sense. You know what I mean? But Mississippi is considered the Nile of the West. Yeah. There's a man named Swinburne Clymer, Clymer. He wrote a book called Esoteric Masonry, where he talks very specifically about this.
Right. Excellent.
Guess who Swinburne Clymer learned from, though?
Who?
P.B. Randolph.
Oh, Pascal Beverly Randolph.
Yes.
Was Randolph a contemporary to Gurdjieff? Were they around at the same time?
No. Gurdjieff came later.
He came later.
Gurdjieff was around during World War II.
Okay.
Yeah. P.B. Randolph, of course, 100 years prior. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "What's your Patreon, Brother Rich?" The same. You spell it the same as my channel, Black Magic 363. Just go to www.patreon.com/blackmagic363. The video that was taken down from YouTube, everybody, is there right now. It's accessible. You could join for $5 and access the video. YouTube took a video down yesterday. The video was absolutely fire. A young brother, RFG, the chosen one, was doing a video about our superpowers not being dormant. What we call the superpowers not being dormant anymore, and us gaining access to them using the natal charts and other things of that nature. And the video was taken down. He said a couple of phrases that are banned on this platform, so I had to upload it on Patreon. Family, you could go over to Patreon to view it. Once again, www.patreon.com/blackmagic363. All right. Let's keep this thing. Okay. Somebody wants to know, can the Veves be used as an astromap?
Yo, it's so crazy that's the question you looked at, because that's the question I just looked at. The short answer to that is absolutely. You know, because, you know, what are the Veves, right? The Veves are just like a circuit board in a computer, right? So they're a lattice work, they're a pattern, they're, you know, a pattern for energy to manifest a particular thing. Yeah, you know, to manifest a particular thing. So I would say yes. I would absolutely say yeah. Absolutely.
Indeed. All right. Speaking of the astral plane and the astral map, I gotta remember to get send you that address, because I gotta get this monatomic gold. Family, I've heard so many good things about this brother's monatomic gold. I heard it's one of the best out there. So I can't wait to try some.
Yeah, brother. I mean, there's certain, listen, at your, let me tell a quick story. At your event in August, oh my goodness. You saw it, right? 2 hours, I was sold out. Gone. And then, but here's what was crazy. I had a number left that were already pre-sold for people that had prepaid. And I said, listen, people, I can't sell you anymore. I'm sorry. These are all, man, I got mobbed. Do you hear me? And then there was this one sister. Shout out to that sister. I'm not going to say her name. She's out in California. Shout out to that sister. She said, she looked at me with the saddest face. She said, brother, I flew all the way here from California to get this. Brother, listen to this. She said, I just finished my first round of radiation therapy for cancer.
Wow.
Bro, I broke. I said, here. I sold it to her. Hold on. She hit me up about 2 weeks ago out the blue. She goes, yeah, I just wanted to give you an update. Beforehand, I wasn't, I had to wait extra time for my next radiation treatment because my body wasn't strong enough. right? She goes, with this, I feel much more alive. My blood platelets are up. I don't got to wait no more. I can just do it. That's what she said.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. This other brother, he hit me up. He said, yo, I don't know. He used a curse word. He said, what the blank did you sell me? I said, oh, what happened? He said, yo, I had a wisdom tooth pulled really bad, and I had another one that was separating from the gums. He goes, I applied it once a day for 3 days, and the gum reattached to the tooth.
That's a hell of a testimony, man.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a testimony. All right. Let's get to a few more. Let me see. Somebody said, is humming a part of hoodoo with no language?
Can be. Vibration is vibration. Listen, let's share this, people. Let's talk about old Negro spirituals in the church. You all do realize, or if you don't, I'm going to inform you, that's not a product of Euro-Judeo-Christianity given to slaves. That's a contribution from our West African practitioners to the church. That's old Afro-Atlantean technology, people. Because sound is vibration. And vibration can raise the tone, which means it can change consciousness and go to a super conscious state. That is why the head of that order I mentioned, OTOA, says that a lot of the old Afro-Atlantean technology now exists in the Holiness Church. Why? Because they regularly practice means of raising the vibration of the consciousness to a super conscious state. We call it catching the Holy Ghost.
Yo, y'all seen that orb by brother Sharif? Y'all seen that orb? This is not the first time. No, I'm serious. A big orb, just zoomed right by you. I remember I seen it before. Who seen that orb just now? we all gonna rewind it and check it out.
Yeah, this is real stuff. A lot of times, because again, the European psychology is so deep with us, we end up throwing our own stuff out with we end up throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We don't recognize our own stuff.
Yeah.
Teresa
wants to know, can white people take monatomic gold?
Everybody can take it, and they can too. Matter of fact, it was a European that quote unquote rediscovered it for the public out of Arizona. His name is David Hudson. David Hudson inherited some farmland, it comes out of money, rich money or old money. And he was doing some experiments with the soil. I mean, how good can soil in Arizona be for growing things, right? And he was doing some experiments to break down the soil using these very caustic chemicals to see if he could change the composition of the soil to make it more productive. And in doing so, long story short, he discovered that the soil there was very rich in naturally occurring monoatomic gold and other platinum group elements. Then he started doing some research on that stuff and started realizing, oh my God, the implications just in the medical field alone are outstanding. So he said, yeah, we're going to get together some of my investors and we're going to build a plant and we're going to produce this stuff for medical research. There was a mystery investor that popped up out of the blue and said, hey, we'll help finance it. But David Hudson was a little smart. He did his research on this guy and said, yeah, this guy's background is too clean, meaning it's fake. Turns out he was part of the military industrial complex. He turned down that guy's money. That guy said, yeah, you're never going to get this off the ground. And sure enough, he got legislated straight out of business. Like, nope, you ain't going to do that.
Wow. Okay, let's get to this next one. Can you practice hoodoo without knowing anything about your ancestral line?
That is a question that I cannot answer because, as I said before, I am not a traditional practitioner of hoodoo. I am very familiar. One of the reasons I was able to do this presentation is because of what Brother Richard mentioned. Mechanics are mechanics are mechanics, be they physical mechanics, be they spiritual mechanics. A car made by Mitsubishi in Japan has the same general components as a car made by a company in Bangladesh. It's still a car. Get it? Spiritual technology is spiritual technology is spiritual technology. And you'll be surprised once you understand the mechanics of spiritual technology, you'll see it all over the world. The only differences will be culture. That's it.
Right.
See?
All right. They want to know, were we all in Atlantis at one point?
Well, Atlantis wasn't a singular location. Atlantis was an empire. So Atlantis had many places. See, Atlantis was an empire. There were a number of cities as part of the Atlantean Empire. See, the Western world has us thinking that it was just one little city that went down under the ocean. No. There was Atlantis in Wisconsin. Get a book called Atlantis in Wisconsin by a man by the name of Frank Joseph. Get the book. Edward Casey, the sleeping prophet, talked about Atlantis will rise again. People think they're talking about a city's going to come up out of the water. No, he's talking about the civilization by way of who? Our people being reincarnated here in America, the former Atlantean priesthood. See? And then we did a piece on the reshot structure already in Mauritania, which most accurately fits the capital of the Atlantean Empire.
Okay.
So the short answer to Maximum Rising's question is yes, because it was an empire, not a singular city.
Let me see. Where did this question go? Okay. During this age of Aquarius, is mental magic more powerful than physical magic? Example will be roots, herbs, candles, etc.
You can't separate the two.
Yeah.
Can't separate the two.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, you cannot separate the two. Without intent, the other stuff. Matter of fact, just using physical things, follow me. Just using physical things to change this is only for sick and weak people. Let me say that again. That is the same mentality that we have when we take our children to the doctor and say, here, fix them. I'll be back at 3 p.m. See? We take the human mechanism or the human body and the human experience to be weak and feeble, and it can't fix itself. The only time from our perspective and our training, mine, that we would look at it from that perspective is if I'm too weak to use my own energy and I need to use something from the outside to build me up so I can. That make sense? I'll give you a quick example. First time I started playing with candle magic, long time ago. One of my good friends, shout out to my brother Khaled Bey, Sharp. He was like, this is what you need to do, Sharif. You get this particular color candle for your intent, what you want to happen. Because he already knew what it was. Write it down on a piece of paper, get this particular color candle at this particular day on this particular time. You say in your mind the intent, put the candle on top of it and light it, right? Yo, I was sitting watching TV on my couch and I was looking, oh, it's almost that time. And just before it was that time, I put the candle on top of the paper. And before I could even light it, the phone rang. And when I picked up the phone, it was the person that I had wanted to affect a particular way. And it was almost as if they were reading right off the paper. I didn't even get a chance to light it. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. So I called my peoples up. I said, yo, and I told him what happened. He goes, you know what he said? Intelligently and wisely and responsibly. He said, the candle's just a crutch to help you focus the intent. You didn't need the candle. See?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Let me put this next comment. It's not a question, it's a comment. But I heard a speaker say this, so I'm not sure if this individual got this from a speaker. But he's saying Atlantis is a flying island like a Vimana. It did not sink, it took off. I forgot who I heard say that, but somebody said that. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay. I wouldn't quite say that specifically, especially with Solon's accounting of what happened with Atlantis as communicated to Plato, right? I will say that what he's speaking about flying cities is very real and goes towards a time even before the sinking of Atlantis with what's called the Rama Empire. The Rama Empire is now present-day India. This is where you get Valixian Vimana craft. See what I'm saying? And you've got like the destruction of the city Mohenjo-Daro. That's still to this day. If you go there, you see the soil turned into glass and things like that. Well, that
Right.
only happens with a nuclear explosion.
Right.
Yeah. So, those types of things did occur where you had literally flying cities and things like that. Yeah. So it's really interesting. Some of the most outrageous or quote unquote outrageous or spectacular teaching of the Nation of Islam and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and even the more science symbol of America, is talking about flying ships and things like that. Right. Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the mother plane being a half mile by half mile square and being constructed on an island off Japan, right? And how it took flight in the year 1929, right? Now, the craziness about, or the most amazing thing to me about that is that Elijah Muhammad was teaching this in the late 30s with a 4th grade education.
Right.
The intelligence communities of the world now reluctantly admit that the so-called aliens are actually homegrown. Yeah. That's why they don't say extraterrestrial, they say ultra-terrestrial.
Yeah.
See, they agree with what he was saying back in the 30s. And that's all ancient tech, people. It's ancient tech. It's been around. See?
It's powerful, man.
Yes, sir.
Any books you would recommend on the ultra-terrestrials? Because there's plenty of ET books out there.
Get them. Okay, so there's a book that changed my life back in the 90s, right? When I was in college, I worked for a local occult bookstore for a number of years. There was a book, the very first book, and I was an avid reader about ufology at that time. And there was one book on ufology I picked up, changed my life. And the man who wrote the book is a longtime friend of mine. I've known him since the late 90s. And his name is Alan Greenfield, and he lives in Atlanta. Alan Greenfield is one of the world's foremost ufologists and one of the foremost world occultists simultaneously. He wrote a book called The Secret Cipher of the Ufonauts. Get the book. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Just get the book.
Say that name again.
Secret Cipher of the Ufonauts. It's UFONAUTS by Alan Greenfield. Book changed my life.
Yo, I would want to get you and him on a show together one day, man.
But it's easy. I already interviewed him twice. That's my guy. We can get him on a show.
I gotta do that, man.
I told you guys before, I don't believe anybody's out. Listen, anybody can be reached.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in that. Alan Greenfield was interviewed on Ancient Alien a number of years ago. They interviewed him for like 2 hours. They only used like maybe 5 minutes of what he said. Right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, Alan, you think that they're part of the cover-up? He goes, absolutely. He told me that flat out. We can get Alan on the show.
Yeah, what you think about that guy, David Wilcock, white dude out there? What you think about his work?
I like David Wilcock's work. Let me tell you what's happening. A little, I won't go too crazy. I can't. I don't want to go too crazy because it'll step on a few toes. Right? The real gatekeepers aren't the people you see in front of the screen. It's the producers.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see David Wilcock on certain. I won't say the names, but you won't see him on certain shows anymore.
He got kicked off of Gaia.
Okay, you said it. I ain't said it.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what happened.
I do. They become aware of another agenda, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, man. Shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I want to read to you real quick.
Sure.
But I got so excited with the show.
Yes.
That I couldn't. I done lost the. Yeah, hold on.
Real quick, shout out to the audience, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's popping. The chat booming.
Yes. Shout out to Sister Latay J. Bay in Atlanta. I see you. Yeah, I mean, you all make this type of thing happen, man. This is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It really is.
Can't find a page, but let me just ask you: have you ever seen? Let me come on camera real quick. Have you seen? Have you read this book yet? Sharif, you read this book yet?
I have, Anthony Peel. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Cosmic Rose, please contact me. I got you. Okay. Listen, I've had a lot a lot of how can I put it? I've been working to make this available to people, right? Because of the research. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really a salesperson. I'm not really doing it to make a lot of money, right? And there's a number of people that you know I haven't gotten product to yet. I will get you the product, or I'll get you your money back. No problem. Just please contact me. I got you. No problem. Okay, go ahead, bro.
I'm find it. There was something.
Yes.
I'm gonna find it. Yo, by the way, I was asked that question about books earlier. Yo, I'm gonna do book reviews every week on this channel, starting probably in December. I think I'm gonna start in December, but I'm gonna do book reviews every week. So I'm gonna take this is gonna be one of the books. There's a lot of information in this book, but I'm and you know what I noticed, Sharif, the books got a lot more information than the YouTube videos. And we've been so accustomed to getting all our information from YouTube videos, but I remember reading books and tapping in way more to information. But everybody don't want to be in front of the screen because you get, I said this earlier, you get attacked so much. They talk about your hat, they talk about your religion, they talk about how you look, how much you weigh, they talk about or anything they could think of. Why was you late? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you do this? So a lot of people like, man, fuck that. I ain't going on YouTube. Hell no. I know a lot of people that's sharp, Sharif. They'd be like, hell no, I ain't going on YouTube. But they sharp. You just wouldn't know it because
I know lots of people like that.
Yeah, they refuse it. Yeah.
Listen, brother, I mean, up until recently, until you brought me on and Red Pill, I was in a similar position. It wasn't so much as that I didn't want to get on. It was that I'm so focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm so focused, like doing this is not what I really do. But you can tell what I really do because I can put, brother, that that presentation I literally put together earlier today while I was double multitasking doing something else. This is stuff that I've done for so long that I can do it almost with no notes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I can almost do it with no notes because this is just what I do. You know.
This is something I also hear a lot.
Yes,
Sharif. Let me know what your thoughts on this. Somebody said Atlanta is the capital of Atlantis now. What's your thoughts on that? I hear that a lot.
I don't know enough about Atlanta in that respect to be able to say such a thing, right? I would say that in some respects it possibly could be, right? But what do we mean? See, that's the thing. What do we mean by Atlantis? Are we talking about a physical location? Are we talking about a civilization? Are we talking about a way of thinking? See, from our perspective, when we say Atlantis, we're talking about a thought stream. We're talking about a way of thinking. I'll give you an example, right? And I've said this before. What would you rather have, pyramids or the mind that it took to create them? See, because if I had the mind that could create a pyramid, I could create greater than a pyramid. See what I'm saying? So when we're talking about the return of Atlantis, we're talking about the return of the mindset of the people that created Atlantis. I don't want the objects that they created. I want the mind that allowed them to create them. See? That's what's preferred. I want that mindset. I want the mindset of the people that built the holy city, bro.
Well, let me ask you this. Since we talk about the minds of our ancestors a lot, and we marvel at their accomplishments, technological, spiritual, the pyramids, the cities, everything. Absolutely fascinating what they did.
Yes.
What is it that you think we have today that they marvel at, that they say, wow, ooh, them some bad motherfuckers? They're like, what is it that we have that they marvel at, you think?
Hip-hop music.
Woo! I knew you was gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say it, but I didn't know he was gonna say it. Elaborate. They marvel at hip-hop music.
Man, look at
hippity hip-hop.
Bro.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
You got South Africans blooding and cripping.
Yeah.
Power is influence. Power is not money. If I can influence you, I don't have to have the money. I can tell you where, how, and with whom to spend it. Power is influence. In our lowest state, look at what we influence.
Yeah, the world.
The world.
The world.
See that? See? We just don't realize we have the power.
That's powerful, man. The brother said the ancient Egyptians who we look up to so much, he said they will marvel at hip-hop.
Straight like that.
Powerful.
Because brother, think about their perspective. They know that sound is technology. They know that travel to other realms is not a matter of altitude, it's a matter of amplitude. They know that.
You remind me, my brother Cambada, artist I work with.
That's my guy, man.
He's tapped in, like he be on the shrooms. He said that he told me, he said, yo, Rich, hip-hop is up there with the, as far as like the best things we have invented, it's up there with the pyramids, Rich. And when he said it, I'm like, that's
right.
deep.
Right.
I'm like, that's deep, but we've been taught that we're so ignorant and our music is so low vibrational that we don't even see it that way. Not saying I see it that way,
right?
But that's deep.
All you gotta, again, like we say in the streets, man, you can say what you want to say. I'm watching your hands. Watch hands, right?
Yeah.
What happened when Jay-Z, Jay Prince, and Chris Murder Inc., those guys, when they all came together to try to put together, or Gotti, when they tried to put together a distribution situation, independent distribution situation. Look at what's happening to Diddy right now because he pissed off the liquor moguls.
The wrong people.
See, all you do is watch hands. If it wasn't that valuable, they wouldn't have their hands in it. They wouldn't.
Do you think that, let me ask you this, since you brought up Diddy, you know, the love frequency is one of the most powerful frequencies. I've never, you know, in our time, I've never heard music as some of the most beautiful R&B music in the world I heard in my lifetime, in my time, was R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And he did some crazy, wild, crazy shit. Do you think that the so-called powers that were wanted him to get him out the picture? Because you see they got rid of R&B. Do you think his music was a threat and they use his degenerate lifestyle as an, you know, as a way to get rid of that vibration, that sound?
It's a form of social terrorism, brother.
Say that again?
It's a form of social terrorism. It's a form of psychological, emotional terrorism.
Yeah.
Remember, terrorism is what? Socio-politically influenced killing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the real victim of terrorism isn't the person you killed or degraded. It's the people that watched it.
Mm.
That's the victim.
Because
that's who you're trying to influence. We killed your king, Negro.
Mm.
See? We're all looking at Diddy, not realizing we're the ones wounded.
He said we're all looking at Diddy, not realizing
we're the ones cut.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, it's one of them nights, y'all. It's one of them shows. we at, let me see, we at the hour 48 mark. We're gonna do 2 more questions.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, for real talk though. We're the ones that are cut. And what are we doing? We're participating. We're participating. We're like, yeah, look at Diddy and and going back and forth. No, we're the ones damaged. That was a shot at us, bro.
Mm.
That's the powers being saying, look what we did to your guy.
Mm.
Look what we did to him. We all know, come on. You think Clive Davis and Harvey Weinstein?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Now, did Diddy and others make a huge mistake thinking that they could live the way that those guys do and get away with it? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, they did. In the nation of gods and earth, 5% nation, right? The number 5 represents power and refinement. What do we say about power? Power corrupts. Mm-hmm. That's why you need refinement with it.
King Simon, is Diddy a number 5? What
Shout out to King Simon.
Our numerologist.
Yes.
I don't know if he's still in. I don't see him in the chat. Let me see what's going on. I don't see him. Yeah, is Diddy a number? Is that because you mentioned 5? I think he might have been. He's either 4 or 5. Anyway, wow. Okay, man. What a show. What a show. Okay, let me ask this question. Okay.
Yes.
Somebody wants to know.
Yes.
Is directing your intent a precursor to telekinesis?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. 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 But there's no getting around disciplining and training the mind the same way you go to the gym and train a muscle. There's no getting around it. You have to build this or else no spells work. None of this other stuff works. You have to build this. You have to. And yes, directing your intent is a precursor to telekinesis. There was a physicist recently I saw on a YouTube, on an Instagram clip where he was talking about holding a thought longer than 14 seconds. You hold it longer than 14 seconds, it starts to materialize. But that takes discipline. That's the definition of meditation, people. Meditation is not sitting in some calm place, listening to some music, lighting some incense, and relaxing. It's not meditation. Meditation is how long can you hold one thought? It's exercise.
Yo, you know what it'd be? Check this out. Check this out.
A group meditation on one thought.
That's fine too. That's fine. But no, check this out. Check this out, Sharif. Now, imagine, you know how like a bicycle has training wheels?
Yes.
When you're young, you got training wheels to learn how to balance yourself on the bike.
Yes.
And the training wheels are there, and you learn how to balance yourself. But eventually, you could ride without the training wheels.
Correct.
Do you think like, you know what would be dope? If somebody came up with an invention for somebody who's trying to tap into their technology where they will put on glasses, right? Say I put on glasses and I can see the rays being emitted from my eyes to this book. So I know that glasses that show the invisible rays that really emit to the book. So those are what did I just call that shit? The with the bike.
Training wheels.
That's the training wheel, the glasses. So now that we know that light is there, once we take the glasses off, we have more powerful intention to move books, move things without touching them because we had the training wheels on for so long.
Bro, look at your hand right now. Look at your hand.
Yeah.
You feel the texture of your hand with your eyes right now.
I feel it.
Hold on. Remember, I gave you guys the training wheels. Look.
Oh, that was it. Oh, man. I might have to put my mask back on. I might have to just end the show. Mask, y'all. I might have to, because it's just that type of mask. That's the training wheels. Excellent.
But now you no longer need them because, again, seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth.
Yeah.
See? You felt it. It's yours now.
Yeah.
You don't need the training wheels anymore.
Right. Fire. And that's even what I was saying earlier about Ebonics. It gives you that feeling. You just said feeling. It makes you feel, I'm going to make it rain. It makes you feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, we talk about this in the More Science Temple of America. I talk about this with my members. You know, what's a common phrase you hear our brothers and sisters say in the church? God is good. Answer?
All the time.
All the time?
God is good.
Now, with our teaching and what we train ourselves to think and to train ourselves to begin to accept is that man and God are one. Man and God are one. So if you embody that idea, when you say that, it means something different. It has a bigger effect on people. When you say God is good and they say all the time, and then you say all the time and they say God is good, see, it's coming from a different place here. It has a different vibration, even though you're saying the same words.
Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man. Wow.
See?
Let's get to this is family. This is what I tell you, Sharif is going for it. He's going for it. He's going for it. The show of the year. He's going for it. He see RFG show yesterday. He got mad. He said, I'm coming tonight with some fire. He's coming for it. Man, what a show tonight, brother.
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a show. Let's get to oh man, this chat booming. Let's get back to the chat. Okay, let's get to one more. All right, let's get to one more. What's going on in the chat? What is going on? Really great questions.
Well, I like this one from Tiffany.
You
She
good?
said, what's one thing we could start doing tonight to raise our vibrational frequency?
Yes. Good way to end it. Good way to end it. Come
on. Let me give you guys a couple things to start thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And these are gifts from my religious organization, the More Science to Love America. We do religion. Yeah. We do religion different, people. We do. So here we go. Right? Things that we could do right now to raise our vibration. Remember, the mind has no limits. It is not limited by time and space. It's not. So start to contemplate. Ask yourself this question every day. Every day. What would it be like to live as a spirit? Ask that question in your mind right now. What would it be like to live as a spirit? See, because automatically when you ask that question, your mind starts contemplating the principles and characteristics of spirit. Does spirit have a location? No. That means you're everywhere. That means you're not bound by space and time. That means that you're not bound by oxygen. You're not bound by food. You understand? Walls, nothing can hold you. Nothing. And you start to think like this. This is something very simple. Start to think like this every day. So when you ask yourself the question, subconsciously, your mind already begins to exercise the capacity. When you start doing this, you'll know why. Because little simple, quote, so-called random things start to be not so random. You think about a friend or a loved one and the phone rings. It's going to happen more often. See? You begin to anticipate things that happen as if they already happened in your mind. Just try it. Here's another one, people. This is called second shadow work. Those times when you're in the dream state and you start to recognize that you're dreaming while you're in the dream state. Train yourself when you reach that point to look down at your hands. What will that do? That will pull more of your waking consciousness into the dream state. Now you begin to willfully lucid dream.
Fire.
Yeah.
I hope y'all listening.
Yeah.
I hope y'all listening.
And then the third thing is the exercise that I just gave you all. That exercise where I could feel the surface of my skin with my eyes, that's powerful in and of itself. But then I can pull my intent from my hand back to my eye, the skin of my eye. And I can feel the skin of my eye. I can feel the skin of my hand. I can feel the skin of my eye again. You are now exercising, listen close, your spirit to consciously send it out, bring it back. Send it out, bring it back. You could do that with the eyes. You could do that with the sense of smell, the sense of taste, and the sense of sound. And as you've already realized with the eyes, you can do it with the sense of touch too. You are getting to know the non-physical, immortal part of you. When we say man and God are one, it's not, come on, man, that's not just nice talk.
Yeah.
You can practice it.
Yeah.
See? You can practice. So those are 3 exercises. See? 3 of them. And all 3 begin to do what? Move more of our waking consciousness above and outside of the body. You begin to recognize there's more to you than just this.
Yeah. Powerful. Yo, let me just, before we end it, and shout out to Tamara Bay. She said, this was a ritual tonight. If you're here, your situation will change after tonight. Indeed,
Actual
man.
facts.
Yeah, no, that's super facts. That's super facts. That tonight was a ritual, one in which your subconscious will not forget. We are learning that this is science. We're learning, like, it's beautiful, man. It puts a smile on my face. I really have a good time doing what I do, y'all. I really enjoy it. And I hope y'all could feel the vibrations emitted through the questions I asked and just me enjoying myself, y'all.
Brother, listen, this is your calling because you could tell that it's organic. It's just coming out of you, but you ask the right questions at the right times, brother.
Appreciate it.
No, for real. You know how to crack me open. That's for real, bro. Yeah.
Let me say, I was thinking about this the other day, right, Sharif? And I love just chopping it up with you during the show, like we just talking on the phone. It's fun.
Right.
So you know how Garvey said, "Look for me in the whirlwinds." Like after he passed away, Garvey said, "Look for me in the whirlwinds." They say our ancestors exist in the water, in the wind, in the wind, in the air, and all that stuff. Yo, would it be dope to come back as? What I would want to come back as, Sharif?
What's that?
A dance move. A revolutionary dance move that's going to raise the vibration.
Stop. Are you familiar? Listen close.
Come back. The whole world.
But bro, listen.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Lakota priest? Lakota, the Sioux Indians. Lakota.
I've heard the names. But
his name is Wovoka. Listen close. In the late 1800s, he had a dream, a spirit vision, and he went to his people. He said, I was talked to by the higher powers, and they communicated a dance that I have to teach you. It's called they call it the ghost dance. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
Bruh.
What?
He said this dance is to commemorate, listen.
Hold up.
The reincarnation of Jesus in America.
Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the United States government outlawed the dance. They said,
I'm on the tap. Come on, y'all. Come on, I'm tapped in, y'all. What the fuck? Yo, you serious?
Word is look it up right now.
You serious?
Look up the ghost dance. Wiki it right now.
Oh my God. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. You can't. Come on, y'all.
We say the war science symbol of America that Noble Drew Ali is Jesus come again. He was born in 1886.
Sheesh.
All right.
Sheesh.
All right.
Want to come? See, I'm on the sun, y'all. This is when you trust your. See, I'm like super intuitive, y'all, and I don't even if it don't make sense to me, y'all. I ask it, or I express it, or I explore it, and I'm like, yo, you know what it'd be like to come back as a dance move? Remember who watched the show? If y'all watched the show I did with Robert E. Grant, and I asked him, what if dance is the sacred geometry of the heart? Remember I was asking about that? So,
bro,
like
the
dance,
dervishes are a Sufi order. That's what they do, bro.
Man.
Yeah.
Garvey gonna be the whirlwind. I'm gonna be the dance. We gonna be everywhere, y'all. Somebody
now,
gonna
Garvey,
be
when he said, look for me in the whirlwind, he was quoting something older. He says these older guys in a secret order would say, you sow the wind, but you reap the whirlwind.
Right. Man.
See? Yeah.
Man, you so well read. I could just throw at you what's on my mind, and you'll be like, "Oh, well, that comes from this," and y'all make sense out of things that just randomly pop up in my mind. So that's why I was like, I gotta get the brother, and that's Magick, y'all. I gotta get the brother to come on here tonight. So yeah, I gotta. I'm going to.
Yeah, the audience, listen, y'all know the brother Rich had no idea what I was going to present.
No, at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Did not know. Oh, what a show! Listen, I want to thank. We still got about 2,400 people. Shout out to y'all Friday night. Make sure y'all, yeah, man, tap in tonight, y'all. Y'all tap in. Sharif, before you get out here, my brother, leave your contact info. You got a lot going on. You got monatomic gold. You got qigong classes.
Yeah, the qigong classes. Listen, that's another thing. Somebody talked about raising the vibration. Reach out to me about. I've got a number of courses, and I'm producing even more. And some of the people have taken them. They already know. What you hear me talk about on the show, that's one thing. The classes are dense, focused, and immediate. You feel the difference immediately. You hear me? And so we did one on bioenergetic anatomy, the foundation of the energetic system. The last one I did was on the 6 healing sounds for all the organs. So it's manipulation of the bioenergy through thought, through breath, and through movement, all three combined to detoxify, to regenerate, and to make healthy all the organ systems. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And I got more coming, but just reach out to me. The course is already done. They're 5-hour courses with an accompanying PDF file and notes and ongoing consultation with me if you get the course to answer any questions.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
And did you leave your email or contact
on Instagram? Find me at Sharif Bey or at Life of a Grand Sheik. Find me there on the gram. You can find me on Facebook, of course, Sharif Anail Bey. Find me on TikTok at Sifu Sharif. You can find me there.
Indeed. And once again, I just shout King Simon. I just seen him in the chat. This weekend, King Simon is going to be in Atlanta. He got a event honoring Dick Gregory, and I know he got Aswar Kwesi there. Red and Blue Pill's going to be there. I know Brother B-Dale. B-Dale's isn't speaking, but he's going to pull up. Dr. B Serious is going to be there. I'm going to speak for about 15 minutes. So shout out to King Simon. And this is going to be at New Black Wall Street. So if you're in the Atlanta area this Sunday in a few days and you got time, stop by New Black Wall Street. It's pretty much like an all-day event. So shout out to King Simon and his event with that.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
Hey, with that being said, family, I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm going to be filming B-Dale on Sunday at the event, and I'll probably upload that Sunday night, but I won't do a live till probably Monday or Tuesday. Right. But with that being said, what a way to end the week with Brother Sharif. This week was popping. I had KT. I had
KT's another genius.
Yeah. I had A.A. Rashid. A.A. Rashid did his show was called Ghetto Telepathy.
That's my brother. He's something else, man.
Family. A.A. Rashid, KT, the Arshagri, RFG. Then I close it out with Sharif Bey. Come on, y'all. What's going on here, y'all? Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh man.
One last thing I want to say real quick. Shout out to Brother Red Pill. He did do a show. I didn't get a chance to watch the show on Hoodoo, right? But I kind of know his perspective. And I want to leave the audience with something that the late Malidoma Some said. And he said this in a private conversation that I was privy to through one of my other good friends and a member of the Moorish movement who's an initiate under Malidoma Some. He said at a particular point before he passed, he said, I get it now. I finally get why I'm here in America. And that's to help you, our people, be better armed spiritually. And so this one sister, and then he said this, your ancestors are waiting for instructions. And then this one sister said, okay, well, when we pray to them, why do they not answer? You know what he said? He said, because y'all sound like slaves. Y'all are bent over. The ancestors don't recognize your voice. He said, you need to stand up and use your command voice like them. So, to Brother Red Pill's point and his perspective, we have power right here on this land. Not just our brothers and sisters on the other side of the pond, but right here. You see? Through the mechanics that Hoodoo embodies, our bodies and now souls are imprinted with their signatures. So we're connected. All we gotta do is call on them. And we're not talking about worship. We're not talking, you don't worship your grandma when you call on your grandma.
Facts.
All right. See? Yeah. We're talking about aid and assistance. That's what we're talking about. Man, listen, the Europeans' machine works. They go to Catholic Mass faithfully. Their spiritual machine works. Ours does too. We just don't use it. Religion to us is active, not passive. Religion to us, our people, is what the European would call magic and witchcraft. Don't be scared of that word religion. We just know what it is. See what I'm saying? See? Our brothers and sisters in Haiti don't call voodoo witchcraft or magic. They call it religion. But they know if they pray today, they get it today. How about that? See? Yeah.
Beautiful. Family, with that being said, Brother Sharif, my brother, thank you so much for the show. Appreciate everything.
Yes,
family,
sir.
Appreciate y'all for going in the chat. Chat was booming tonight. King Simon, I see you. He got the link for the tickets in the chat. And I will see y'all. I'll probably go live real quick at the event, and I'll do another live next Monday or Tuesday. Got a good lineup for next week already mapped out in my mind. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Sharif, I'm gonna talk to you soon. My brother, I'm gonna send you the Addy right now.
Please do, brother. Please do.
I got you. Did you say how to get the monatomic gold already? Did you say that? Did I miss that?
Listen, just reach me. Just contact me through the gram, whatever. I got you. That's it. Simple. I'm
gonna send it, bro. I'm gonna have that by next week, y'all. I'm definitely gonna get that soon. I'll let y'all know. Yes, I hear nothing but good reviews on it. With that being said, I'll see y'all next week, family. Peace. Peace, Sharif.
Peace.
Peace, family.
This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the masses. This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the masses. This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the masses.